what would be the right parrot species to get if all you need is love or a little emotional healing? Because that's what the Beatles said, right? All you need is love. Today we're going to talk about what is emotional healing, because after all, any parrot can help you heal emotional. No parrot is going to help you heal or make you feel loved. It's a little more complex than that. We have to understand what feeling loved or what emotional healing is. Not that they're exactly synonymous. We have to understand what parrot species are going to offer us what kind of love. And we should think about what parrot species not to get. And then we should also look at what we need to keep in mind. I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. Please be sure to get your copy on Amazon.com so that you can have a blissful, loving bond with your parrot. I have 22 species of parrots. This is my golden conure Bonnie, and we're talking about love, so stick around. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I love talking about parrots. If you are used to hanging out, that means hopefully you're already subscribed and hopefully you've already set the YouTube preferences to let you know when the next video is published, which is usually tomorrow. So, what bird is going to help you feel loved, help you with your emotional healing? Hold on. What is emotional healing? Emotional healing is really a place where we need love in our lives. Whenever we have something that's going on, we have an energetic hole, something that's missing. When I was young, I was talking with a friend of mine and I literally said, like, I can almost feel the hole, like something's wrong, gone, missing, amiss. What changes that? What makes us a more whole person? Different than when we have a whole person. It is when we fill that part of ourselves with a higher vibrating frequency, usually love. What does it mean to be loving? What does it mean to have love? What does it mean to be loving with the bird? To be loving is to be caring. To be caring is to be fulfilling needs. And so what you're going to be after is creating a bond with your parrot that is mutually beneficial. And when it's mutually beneficial, then what happens is, as you fulfill your parrot's needs, you're going to feel loved by your parrot as you give the love, because your parrot will give you love in response as well. What are those needs? In a human, we have 3 basic needs. This actually is one of my specialties. I love human development as it pertains to raising your frequency and your energy. So, fulfilling needs and being loving is all about having love, acceptance, and approval in your life. That means that you want to be very loving with your parrot. You want to be accepting of them, even when they're loud or bitey. And you want to approve of them, because the truth is, they are so good at being a parrot. Yes, sometimes they eat your kitchen cabinets. Yes, sometimes they break the zipper on your favorite sweatshirt from Disneyland. That might have happened to me. They do things like that, but they're just being a parrot and they're really good at it. So we have to be accepting and really appreciate them for who and what they are. In response, they are so good at being non-judgmental and loving us no matter what. And they're going to love us more when we have that mutual relationship with them, that trust. So it's really important to make sure that you develop that with your parrot. Now, how is it that that works? What does it do? Well, if you have some heartache kind of thing in your heart or something in your life where you need some love, and everybody does, some people are more aware of it than others, some people really, have worked with it more already, because time tends to help you, life tends to help you out, especially when you're working with time. But when you do this, what happens is no matter how you feel, when you extend love, acceptance, and approval, when you fulfill your parrot's needs and you give them fresh vegetables every day, you give them their pellets, you do maybe some training, you make sure their cage is clean, you engage with them, you love on them. When you take really good care of them, one of the things that you're doing is you are reaching for a higher vibrating energy of love, or a higher vibrating energy, and then you're giving that to your parrot. I love you. As you do, you can't help but raise your frequency. That's one of the beneficial things about having a relationship with another human or creature, animal for sure. You exchange energy, you exchange love, and you can either exchange a higher vibrating frequency or a lower one. Like if your parrot's yelling and you yell at them and you wind up not getting along and you're both miserable, you both lower your vibration. If you're loving with your parrot, if you're understanding that they're a parrot, and you let them be loud when you're trying to make a video, then you tend to raise your vibration a little bit at a time. And that is a part of what causes healing and a raise for both of you. What creates that bond, because you're growing together, you're raising yourselves together, and you're creating a better life together. Now, what parrots are ideal for this? Well, it kind of depends some on your lifestyle, and it depends some on your pocketbook, your allergies, and how much time you have to spend with your parrot. For example, if you're looking for a real life companion 24/7, a parrot whose cage you're going to keep in your bedroom at night, so your parrot's going to almost see you all the time. Maybe you're retired, maybe you work from home, and you're going to be with your parrot almost all the time, then a cockatoo might be a great parrot for you. Cockatoos vary in prices. And the thing is, they are like super duper social, right, sweetie? And because they're so social, they're going to be a parrot that is going to be so enthusiastic to love you, to talk to you, to play with you, to engage with you. Actually, the downside and what can be hard for people is that a cockatoo can actually kind of go a little too much, and they can become needy when their needs aren't fulfilled. They're accustomed to having a flock of 20,000 parrots and getting attention all the time, 24/7. So if you don't have that time, that kind of time for your parrot, then maybe what you're going to be after is a golden conure. One thing about conures is the whole family, as far as I know, because there's like 50 species, the whole family tends to be very connected. Bird coming in for a landing. And that's my Cape Parrot. Golden conures tend to be very committed to their bonds, although, conures in general, all the golden conures are just very communal, so they will love, generally speaking, whoever is in your home, or whatever other birds you might have. But this is a bird whose essence is love, aren't you? They are loving. They want to be loved. They want to love on you. This one saw her friend, so now I think she wants to fly the coop, but she's very cuddly. She's very affectionate. She very much wants to be with me. She makes me feel very loved, and she makes me feel like I love her a ton. It is very easy to feel like life is great and life is wonderful when you have a golden conure in your flock. However, cha-ching, golden conures are pretty expensive. They are not easy to breed. It's hard to get a baby raised. I learned on one of my last visits to my avian vet that golden conures can easily aspirate when they're learning, like when they're babies and they're learning to eat, that kind of thing. So they're very difficult. And actually then I talked to a bird shop owner and she told me the same thing. And I think that's part of the reason why they've got the price tag they've got, which is going to be about between $5,000 to $7,000. Kind of pricey. Don't have that much money? How about a cockatiel? Cockatiels are going to be $200, $300 up to maybe $500 depending on where you are, and that's prices in the US. A cockatiel is the world over one of the most popular parrot pets. There is a bird that is all cuddles and all sweet and all loving, although some of them don't let you pet them, like mine. But cockatiels are great companions. They don't quite require the 24/7 that a cockatoo does. And I'm kind of being general and saying cockatoos in general, which I'm putting like this huge umbrella over all of the cockatoos. My major Mitchell's different. She wouldn't really qualify or fall under that umbrella. And cockatiels aren't going to fall under that umbrella. But generally speaking, that's going to be true. So the cockatiel is going to give you the ability to have the beautiful crest and a very loving parrot that isn't really going to be bitey or anything like that. It's a parrot that is going to make you feel like you've got a best friend, and it's going to be at a price you can afford and within the space you might have if you're in an apartment or a smaller home, something like that. Now, the problem might be you might have an allergy because the whole entire umbrella of the cockatoo family has that dust, that dander. Bonnie will make an oil that she distributes throughout her feathers to keep her feathers in good shape. The cockatoo family has a dander. If you're allergic, if you have asthma, then that cockatoo umbrella might not be the one for you. How about a green cheek conure or a crimson bellied, a dusky conure? That was always on my list, but anyway. The conures, again, they are the family that are going to be really bonded. Now, you do run the risk of them becoming a one-person bird, but they're going to make you feel loved. They're going to want to be with you. They're going to want to be on you. With all of these birds, I really recommend two because, like I said, they're very social. That's one of the reasons they're going to make you feel loved so easily, and you're going to have such an easy time loving them. With the green cheek conure, I think it's going to be more important to have two. I find that otherwise they get lonely, and you know, any parrot can pluck. And the species we're talking about, they can all be pluckers, and so you really want them to have those needs met. And one of their strongest needs is for a flock. So a green cheek conure is also going to be within that price range that I think you're going to be able to afford, depending on what factor, which means color, you want. They're going to be $300-400 up to probably like $1,600 if you want the latest and greatest color variations. Unless you can find one of the elusive, what color are the really expensive ones?
The violet?
Yeah, violet. One of the violet ones. They are really striking. But then you're going to be paying as much as you are for Bonnie. So my guess is in that case you're going to get Bonnie instead. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe you'll get a violet green cheek conure. If you do, come join me on Parrot Bliss Flock on Facebook groups and post a picture so that I can vicariously enjoy and appreciate your bird through you. And it doesn't even have to be a violet green cheek conure. People don't understand. I love seeing pictures of parrots because my 22 species isn't enough to satiate my need to see beautiful birds all of the time. All right, so we talked about 4 species of parrots that are going to be good for that loving, helping you feel loved, helping you do some emotional healing, helping you have this magical safe space at home where your world is magical, and then you walk out the front door and I can't guarantee anything anymore. But these are parrots you're going to have an easier time bonding with when you're really loving, accepting, and approving of them. And don't forget, they were the cockatoo family, a cockatiel if they're too expensive, or if you can't do 24/7. The golden conure or a green cheek conure. Now, are there others? Yes, for example, Amazons. However, Amazon parrots, who can be fiercely loyal and very loving, they tend to be one-person birds, and they are very squawky, up there with the cockatoo family. So if noise is a problem, you might need to scratch both of those off your list. If you're willing to risk the fact that the Amazon may not choose you, like if there's someone else in your home, the Amazon might like them, and then you become public enemy number 1. That's no fun. So keep that in mind. The green cheek conure, a golden conure, a cockatiel, they're kind of like safe and quieter choices. What species not to choose? The ones that are going to make you feel completely unloved. And I say that meaning that if you get an Asiatic bird, an Indian ringneck, anything that looks like an Indian ringneck, an African ringneck, Alexandrian, who else is Asiatic? Eclectic. any of those, they're going to be the no touchy category. That means they want no touching. Does that mean you can't touch them at all? No. It means that Bonnie, sometimes she comes over and kind of nuzzles me the way a dog would, like pet me, because she is the essence of love. An Asiatic bird is not likely to do that, or not near as much and not near as often. If you want, if you want a parrot, you can almost hug, not literally, they're small, please don't squeeze them. But parrot you can like love on and I love you. That's not going to be an Asiatic bird. The Asiatic birds, they're going to be like, you know what? That's a little too close for comfort for me. I am not the kind of bird who wants to like constantly be like this with you, where, the other birds like that, the way green-cheeked conures are. So avoid the Asiatics. Who else? Well, you know what? I really like the African family of parrots. That's going to be African grays, African capes. Here's my African cape. Bless you. Senegals, Myers, all of those guys, they are awesome. They're not very loud. They're awesome. I really, really like them. And the Cape Parrots can be more affectionate. I have some that are like no touchy, but I adopted him when he was about not quite a year. Oh, yeah. 10 months. And I kind of feel like some of it might be because he was in a pet store for that time by himself without a flock. But then again, so was Bonnie, and Bonnie is very connected. So, like I kind of feel like with the Cape Parrots, So basically, like an African gray, maybe you'll have a different experience. My experience is I adopted 4 adults. As an adult, I didn't have the bonding time like I've had with Bonnie because she's still young. And so African gray parrots I describe as being more aloof. They're not gonna like freak out. They're not gonna scream their heads off, but they're also not gonna be like super duper duper lovey-dovey bonded to you. They're not a stuffed animal. If this one could be a stuffed animal because I could love on her all day long. The African grays would bite on me all day long and I would have no fingers left after I tried to love on them, and they were like, you know what? Like, for example, Hera, one of my African grays, she'll like sit here or on the arm, and it's like, I really like being next to you. You can pet me. Okay, now I'm done. Don't come near me. If your shoulder comes near me, I'm gonna bite your shirt. Oh, you got too close. Back off. Just leave me. Just leave me. This is so nice. Keep your distance. Like they have a personal, my African gray parrots have personal space. They're like, this is my personal space. After this is locked jaw bite territory. So after that, you're fine. You're safe. Don't come near me. And that's not to say that I can pick up 2 of them. The third one doesn't like me. My husband can pick up 2. I can pick up the other 2. And they can be right by me. They would never do this to me, ever, ever. Bonnie's like, feed me, love on me, give me attention. Yes, I love you. That look at her. She's fluffing up. That is what it's going to look like when you have a bird that is love, 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 love. Apparently, in the world of parrots, love is yellow. So, if you want a lovey-dovey, I would avoid the Africans. I would avoid the Asiatics. They're just not super duper lovey. I think you'd be fine with a budgie. I think like the Australians. But like I said, I told you who, I think you're okay with a budgie. I think you're okay with a parrot. I love parrots. I adore parrots. Here's my baby Versailles. But not lovey-dovey. They're not at the top of the lovey-dovey list. Now, what do you need to keep in mind? What I really want you to keep in mind is that your parrot can be a wonderful vehicle for healing. So can a dog, so can a cat. I'm not telling you to get a dog or a cat. I'm saying parrots aren't the only ones. Parrots are exceptional. A parrot is going to be your life companion, and if you get that cockatoo, they're like going to be your 24/7 companion. Yes, you can go to the grocery store without them. But for example, you can't travel a whole lot. It's really hard on them. They don't understand why you disappeared on them for days or weeks or whatever it is. So once you're feeling better and you're feeling like life is better and things are better, maybe that's in a month, maybe that's in 6 years, don't forget, this is the way your parrot is. They're not wounded necessarily, and they aren't necessarily over it. And they're like, bye, see you later, you can go now, I'll just hang out by myself in my cage. No parrot is really made for that. As I said, they really are all made for having that flock. And so I think it's really important to keep in mind that when you take on a parrot, whether you're doing that healing and having that loving time or not, your parrot still needs that connection. That's one reason I try to always get my parrots in twos. Bonnie's an exception because Chico's mad about her, my orange-winged Amazon, and they've made a connection. Otherwise, most of my parrots are in pairs so that they have their best feathered friend. They've got their place of their first flock mate. And then sometimes they have other parrots of the same species, and if not, they have the flock. It's really important because you don't want your parrot to suffer. You don't like suffering. I know you don't want your parrot to suffer. So just keep that in mind. And keep in mind that you can get 2 parrots, 2 golden conures, 2 green cheeks, and they will still bond with you when you're spending time with them. I just haven't found an exception where they don't still want to bond with me. Thank you for joining me in this blissful video. And I wanted to thank the person who asked the question. It's a fantastic question. Animals are a great way for us to heal because they're not judging us, because they are loving, accepting, and approving of us. Even when we have a bad day, even when we're not necessarily like always nice to them, they're always really loving with us. So let me know how it goes. Let me know what species you choose. Let me know if your parrot loves you. I already know you adore your parrot, right? We'll catch you in the next feathered video.